Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today I'm going to be doing my what to buy first on a budget video for Star Wars Armada, focusing on the Separatist faction. So if you're interested in the Clone Wars and you're interested in the Separatists specifically, or the CIS as they're sometimes called, this is a great starting point. Hopefully you guys enjoy what you see here. I'm going to be talking about basically what I'm recommending if you're on a budget and you're starting to get into Star Wars Armada and looking at the Separatist faction. Now, you don't necessarily have to go with, of course, what I'm suggesting first. You can buy whatever you want to buy, but if you're just looking to get a roundabout assessment of the situation, what's available for the Separatists, and some of the new things that have come out since Atomic Mass Games took this game over from Fantasy Flight, and they've released some free expansions basically called Rapid Reinforcement. These are PDF print and plays that are hosted on atomicmassgames.com. Definitely think you should check those out. They are cards that you can print out and use and augment your fleets and change up your fleets a little bit. And they allow some new options for the Separatists that didn't exist prior. And so that's something worth considering. That stuff is available for all four factions, but we're going to take the Separatist content into consideration as we break down our what to buy first list for Star Wars Armada. If you like what you see here, I'd love for you to stick around, subscribe, check out, like the video, share the video, leave a comment. Let me know some of your favorite ships, in whether it be in the Separatist faction or in any of the other factions. We're going to talk about all of it for the Separatists in this video. So I am going to be using Asmodee's site here to give you the MSRP and to give you a visual of each of these boxes. Now, the first thing I have is the Armada core set. This is just a starting place. You don't necessarily have to buy this, but you may already have this. One of the good things about having a core set already is you're going to have extra dice, extra maneuver tools, extra damage decks, all of that other stuff. Now, the game went under a big change when the Clone Wars came out. So your first purchase will probably be the Star Wars Armada Separatist Alliance Fleet Expansion. This is basically a starter. If you already have the other starter, that's fine. A lot of players typically play more than one faction, but that's not necessarily your first goal, to play more than one faction. Although if you play multiple factions already, that's pretty cool too. But you're going to want to pick up this Alliance Fleet, the Separatist Alliance Fleet Expansion Pack. It's called an expansion pack, but it's really a starter. The reason I think they call it an expansion pack is because it's a single fleet only. It's not a multi-fleet, multi-faction. In the sense that the original starter had both Rebel and Empire represented, and so it was like you could just buy that box and two people could play a smaller version of a game. You could play a learning game, and you kind of can't play a learning game with this. This is meant to give you a good jump in point to be able to play against someone else. It's not enough for a full 400 point fleet, but it can get you kind of close there, and you won't have to buy a whole lot more extra. So what this comes with is, three awesome ships. You're getting two hard cells and also the Munificent. Now, the Munificent is fantastic. It's a very, very good, well-rounded ship. The hard cells are small ships that are also very tough and surprisingly tanky and have a respectable amount of firepower. They're also, frankly, all three of these ships are very, very good. And I love them. I think this is one of the best starters the game has ever seen. It's just, you're getting three very, very good quality ships, and you'll probably use them a lot in your games. So, excellent quality starter, excellent ships, and of course you're getting other things too, like you're getting dice in here, you're getting a movement tool, you're getting dials, you're getting a lot of dials and speed dials, command dials, all kinds of good stuff like that. You're getting all those things that you need to play the game. This MSRP is at 109. Sometimes you can get these on sale. Now, depending on what your budget is, if your budget is, you probably need a budget of about 150 or so. If you're playing MSRP, you can probably get into Armada for $100 if you get this on sale, and sometimes you can get like one more ship pack or something, or a squadron pack, or you can get a little bit more than this and be good to go. A lot of people will pick up more than one of these starters if you're just starting the game and you can afford to, or if you find them on sale, if it's like buy one get one free or something like that. I would probably suggest thinking about getting a second starter. This is if you don't have the regular Armada starter already, it's better value to do this, because frankly, a lot of the stuff that you're going to get in here, a lot of those that movement tool, those dice, you know, and you're getting some squadrons in here too. The vultures are pretty good. You know, well, it's good to have a lot of vultures. They're cheap and you can run quite a bit of them. But all the things that you're getting in the starter are useful to have more than one of. That range tool, all that other stuff. It's great to have more than one movement tool. It's great to have more than one set of dice, because you will use more dice than just the, you know, 3 of each color that are in this box. So it's worth considering getting a second one if you can afford it. It gives you pretty well-rounded fleets, but it doesn't have to be necessarily your second purchase, but it's something I want you to be on the lookout for if you're on a budget. If you find a good deal on this pack for less than 100, if you can find this, sometimes it goes on sale for as low as like 70 or something like that. It's worth picking up a second one if you get them on sale, because you're getting a lot of great stuff in here. Plus, it's the only place you can get the Munificent, and the only place you can get the hard sell. Now, I bought 3 of these when the Armada Clone Wars first came out, because I really wanted to have some versatility and flexibility in my Separatist fleets, and it gave me that. So if I wanted to run 3 Munificents, that was the only way to do it, was to get 3 of these. 3 is probably overkill for most people. 1 you'll need, but 2 probably might not need. But I think it's worth, if you get it on sale, I think it's a good buy. Next up, I'm jumping to the Recusant. The Recusant class destroyer is absolutely magnificent, and I think it's the best ship that the Separatists have. It is gorgeous, and you will have a good time with it. You will really have a good time with it. Now, interesting thing about this, if you've got your core set, you've got some cards. We're going to talk about the upgrade card collection as well. And there's a lot of ways for you to get kind of caught up on all of the different upgrade cards. But the last wave of this game that came out has new upgrade cards. So you're going to be getting some stuff in the Recusant here that you can't get anywhere else. Some great commanders, too, like TF-1726. You're going to get the Patriot Fist title that turns the Recusant into one of the hardest hitting ships in the game. It's a fantastic expansion. It's a large ship. It is not the tankiest large ship. It's not the tankiest ship in the game, but it is pretty tanky, and it can survive a decent number of shots. It's just really got a very, very strange frontal arc too, which is also very, very cool. You see this frontal arc here. It kind of shoots almost a 180-degree arc. It's like, I guess, like 170 degrees or something like that. It's got a tremendously huge front arc, and the ability to make that front arc even deadlier with a Patriot Fist title. I only suggest getting one of these. You can fit 3 of them in a list, and if you just love this ship, then go for it. But 1 is usually all you need, and so I would suggest picking up just 1 of these. And this combined with a core set will give you a really cool fleet. You can definitely do that. And I think that's really all you need to get started. So you can just stop right there. If you're on a budget, a core set plus Recusant is a great place to have a strong and capable Separatist fleet. You can be done right there, or you can go further. And one of the things you might want to do if you go further is pick up some more Squadrons. The Armada Separatist Fighter Squadrons expansion pack is going to give you 4 different types of squadrons. You're going to be getting those some more vulture droids, including some named vulture droids that have your little scatter aces and stuff like that. You're going to be getting some tri-fighters, which is cool. You're going to be getting the hyena bombers, and you're going to be getting the Belbalubs, which is that cruiser thing that Grievous likes to fly. So you're going to be getting 8 squadrons, 2 of each type. You might not think that you need the vultures as much, especially if you bought more than 1 of the core set or the starter. But yeah, you're gonna get different vultures at least. But yeah, you're getting a lot of good squadron variety in here, and I mean their bombers are really interesting. I bought 2 of these, and I think I actually bought a 3rd one because I was gonna try and paint up some more bombers and run a bomber heavy fleet. I haven't even done that yet, but yeah, I usually don't like Separatists as much for their squadron presence, but they do have some pretty cool squadrons, and it's probably worth exploring running the Separatist squadrons a little bit more. But the Tri-Fighters, I think, are pretty good and well-rounded. I think they're my favorite Separatist Squadrons, but then, of course, the Vulture Droids are cheap, and they can often be just what the Doctor ordered. But always pick up at least one of these. If you're very much a Squadron-centric player, you may want to pick up more than one. They're not super expensive either. $29.99 is, it's not bad MSRP for 8 Squadrons. So as we move forward, the upgrade card collection. The other thing is, this thing is just extremely important. As you start playing the game more and want to be able to do more with your ships, the upgrade card collection gives you every upgrade card in the game up until the Clone Wars. So all of the original Rebel and Empire cards, all of the upgrade cards that they ever came with, including those commanders and stuff. This is, first off, it's going to give you access, so you don't have to go out and buy, once upon a time, you used to have to go out and buy a ship you weren't going to use because it came with an upgrade you need for another ship. They totally got rid of that, well, mostly got rid of that when they came up with the upgrade card collection. Exceptions to that is that the last round of Clone Wars ships had some unique upgrades that, they were made after this, so they can't go back and put them in this box. So, but this is a great option for brand new players. For most upgrade cards, you're getting more than one copy. There's very few cards that you can only get one copy of, and those typically tend to be unique cards. But if you're going to have a very big fleet, eventually you may want to get a second one of these, so you can have like 4 copies of certain cards. But again, if you're starting out on a budget, this is one of the best buys you can possibly get. The upgrade card collection gives you so much content, so many different upgrades that you can put on your ships and gear the one ship out, 17 different ways. And you can do that from the upgrade card collection. So this is a must. Now that you've kind of gotten your fleet build, you got your core ships, and you got some squadrons, you got the building blocks of being able to field a 400-point fleet and have mix it up a little bit. This is going to give you the ingredients to kind of like you've got, if it's a recipe and you've got your cookie recipe, this is going to allow you to put chocolate chips in there, or peanut butter chips in there, or butterscotch drizzle on top, and things like that. So you can do all kinds of cool stuff. Man, I want some cookies now. I want some cookies. All right. Moving forward. Why do I have Imperial ships on this list, you might have? Why would you want to consider buying the Star Wars Armada Imperial Assault Cruisers, the Gozanti cruisers? Well, that's I have an easy answer for you. These are now legal in Separatists with Rapid Reinforcements Part 1, which added the Searock Gozanti available to the Separatists. And there's a card for it. You can print it out and use it for free. If you're an existing player of Armada and you already have these, like if you already played Empire and picked these up from Armada's Wave 3 way back in the day, you can run these now with Separatists for free because there's a free card. Now, if you buy this pack in your you also play Empire too, it pulls double duty because now this is a dual faction ship, which is really cool. It's not completely crucial for the Empire, for the Separatists to run this ship, but definitely run this one after you have the upgrade card collection or at the same time, because the upgrade card collection is going to give some really cool ion-capable weapons to this ship, and allow this to be like, it changes roles because it can take the ion cannon now with the Separatists, and all of a sudden it becomes like, hey, this is a light, light, quick, versatile ship that used to be support for the Empire, but now it can employ some really cool blue dice crit mechanics for the Separatists. All of a sudden it's really wild. So the assault carriers are very interesting. And they can do some just bizarre stuff, and so they're very cool and very fun and cheap too. Not only are they cheap in that they're only $23 for this. Now there's 2 ships in there, but they both go on one base. It's a flotilla. They have special rules for a flotilla, but also they don't cost a lot in game points, so it's a way for you to get cheaper activations into your fleet, which is important. All right, moving on, we've got the Invisible Hand expansion. This is, frankly, this is a beautiful ship. It is the Providence class. This was one of those flagships that were in a lot of episodes of Clone Wars. This was also that Grievous's flagship for the beginning of Episode 3. That when they just flew the half a ship that landed it down in Coruscant. This is a tough ship. It makes for a very good flagship. It's very strong. It has variety of dice that it can roll. It's got all the different colors. It comes. Oh yeah, you've got all kinds of cool upgrades that come in this pack too. Really good upgrades that come into this pack that are going to make your fleets even more versatile and deadly. And the reason I have this one a little bit later on the list is because it is an expensive ship. It's a large ship, very similar to the Recusant. I just don't feel like it's quite as good as the Recusant, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you only need one or the other. But if I could only pick one, I'd go with the Recusant because I use that like twice as often as I use the Providence. But the Providence is still good. It's a very good carrier. It's also a very good flagship, and it's a very good close range ship, but for it to get to close range usually has to go pretty fast and is not very maneuverable. So it can be tricky to employ it as a close range ship. I think it kind of works better as a carrier, but the Munificents are already good carriers too. So I feel like it's not a ship that you need, but it's a ship that if you want to get it's the final Separatist ship on this list, and there are no more Separatist ships once you get past this point, at least yet at this point in 2023. But yeah, it's still a good ship. I think the other ships are more important to get first, so that's why I put them first. And this one's also kind of expensive too, and this is also, I'm taking budget into consideration. But definitely eventually get one of these. Now I will say, if you play more than one faction and you play Rebels, you might want to pick this one up a little bit sooner. If you want to play it, because this one is also able to be used as a Rebel ship with rapid reinforcements. So that's something worth considering. And lastly, I have some other things they're optional buys. Extra dice. If you didn't buy a second core set, at least consider getting another dice pack. These are usually cheap. Sometimes you can find even these on sale. You're probably going to need more than one die, or more than one set of dice. A lot of ships like to roll lots of dice. You have other things that add dice, concentrate fires and things like that. So yeah, you always need more dice. A spare maneuver tool is usually very nice to have. You have your four distance maneuver tool. Sometimes people like to have 2s or 1s or 3s or one of all of them. And so the maneuver tool is very, very useful. So I love it, and I definitely recommend having a spare. And then there's campaigns. You have both the Corellian Conflict and Rebellion in the Rim. There's Rebellion in the Rim. There's Corellian Conflict. These are less crucial if you're only a Separatist player. These were campaigns that were a whole rule set back when the game was just Empire and Rebels, and they allowed you to form a whole campaign, play against, you have a team of like 2 or 3 people playing up against another team of like 2 or 3 people, and you'd meet up every week and keep advancing the campaign. Your fleets would grow and grow and grow, and then as you lost really badly, you could like take damage and lose ships too. It was like really cool system, and all culminates in one giant team game of all 3 versus all 3 of the other time, and it's like a big 1,500 point game or whatever. Just really cool stuff. But they also came with extra cards that you could use for your fleets that were tournament legal, extra squadrons, and then the second one came with some some, I think, titles and stuff like that, which is cool. But the thing that really impacts the Separatists in this is the objectives. You're going to be getting new red, yellow, and blue objectives in both of these packs. And again, this is something to consider after you've been playing for a while and after you've kind of exhausted the core game objectives. This is a way for you to get access to some new objectives that can open up your games even more. And also, while both of these campaigns are designed for Rebels versus Empire, it's not particularly hard to modify them for Clone Wars use, so you can do that if you want to. They're not designed for that, and the balance isn't 100% balanced for that, but it's still something that you can do, you can opt to do, and it shouldn't be too difficult. And then the last thing on this list that's available, is the dial pack. I don't recommend you get a dial pack. Like I said in my other video, future ships, we're not going to have dials. So that's why if you look at like the Recusant and the Providence, they don't have dials in them. And had the game kept going out with more and more new ships, you would not have dials in all those. And if you ever got to a point where you needed more dials, you'd get them in a dial pack. But most players who've been playing the game have so many dials. But you get like 10 in the core set. So if you get more than one core set, you probably never need any dials. But this is something to consider if you got only one core set, but you keep buying Recusants and Providences, and you get to a point where, hey, you might eventually get to a point where you don't have enough dials. It's unlikely, but you could get to a point where that happens. It's more likely you would get to a point if you kept buying the new ships and wanted to play a larger game, larger than 400 points. So if you were going to do like a sector fleet game or an 800-point game or something like that, it is possible. I think more realistically, though, this is a pack that's useful in case you lose your dials. Because you're getting speed dials in here, you're getting pass tokens. You really don't need very many of those. So you're just getting some extra stuff that most people just don't really need. And I think that's why they started stopping putting that stuff in the ships, because it was making the ships have more, or the expansions have more weight, having more plastic bits and stuff like that, things that a lot of players just didn't need in the first place. So they kind of moved them all over to this dial pack. Most people are never going to need a dial pack, but it exists. Probably more if you lose your dials or something like that. Or if they ever ramp production back up and start coming up with more stuff that don't have dials, this might have value someday in the future. I guess we'll have to see. All right, guys, that does it for my what to buy first when on a budget list for the Separatists. I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. I want to know some of your favorite Clone Wars era battles and what's kind of your dream space battle to see, whether it shows up on a Disney Plus show or in a movie or maybe in a book or in a video game even. I'd love to hear about that. I love space battles, and to me it's one of the best parts of Star Wars. It's a very, very cool thing to see those beautiful, like look, that space battle in Rogue One or the opening of Episode 3 or the Battle of Endor. Awesome space battles. Love to see it. And I love to see the capital ships, slugging giant turbo laser fire at each other. It's just gorgeous to watch. Can't wait to see more. And hopefully Ahsoka gives us more of that. Of course, at the time of me recording this, it's very early in the time frame of that. But if you're watching this a year from now, you'll already know. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We'll talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are out of this world and help make this channel possible. Thank you for your continued support. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. Have a great day. The spice must flow.